on the Dam Quemahoning trail race today. It's like 34 miles-ish, give or take a half mile, with like 3,300 feet of gain. Finished first overall in like 4:48. I think it was like 15 is what the official time was. So that was actually the course record by, I think, like 7 minutes at least. I said it last year, so I said it again this year, a little bit lower. I had no intentions to doing that this year. Last year I had intentions, but I blew up. I was on like a 4.5 pace. I just blew up and got dehydrated. This year, I was just going to try to win or use it as a training run, more so a training run, because I just didn't want to like beat myself up, because for some reason this race always mind fucks me, to put it honestly. I don't know what it is about the trail. It just pisses with my mind a lot. So there's that. But so I took the first loop, because it's a 2-loop course, basically 17 miles each loop. The first loop I took easy. I wasn't trying to burn up. Last year, that was another reason why I burned up. I was on a relay team and I redlined the whole first 10 miles of the race, trying to get my team ahead. This year I didn't have to worry about that, so I hung back and paced myself a heck of a lot better, and I didn't hit 160 on my heart rate at all, so I never hit zone 5. I might have later on, but at least early on I didn't today. So I think that saved me a lot today. Even though it was a little bit cooler than last year, it got really hot. Right now it's 54. I guess it might feel 54, but early on in the race, like this morning, it was probably 45 degrees. It was beautiful weather to start. The rain held off all race, but it was overcast the whole time, so the sun didn't come out, which I'm very thankful for, because if that sun comes out, it's a real killer. It just makes the trail hot, just the way the sun hits the trails and some of the open spots. So it was very nice and very runnable weather today. So yeah, so I took the first loop easy. I came through to the aid station at like 2:18, which is about a mile. I'm trying to think. Yeah. So, all right, I'll explain the course first. You start at Camp Harmony and you run like a mile before you actually hit the Quemahoning trails, which is like a 15.5 mile loop around the dam and stuff like that, which gives you, if you do it twice, it gives you that like 33.5 to 34 mile range, depending on what your GPS picks up. And then you start the second loop minus that first mile from Camp Harmony, and then you finish on that last mile. So I came in at like I don't know, whatever the mileage would be, I can't think of it while I'm driving, but so like 2:18. So if I would have doubled that, it would have been 4:36 plus one more mile to go. So like 4:47 probably, give or take. You know, like with that mile would have been my ETA estimate. So coming in at 4:48, I basically did both loops about roughly the same time, give or take a minute or two. So after the first loop, when I came in, I was like, all right, 2:18, that means I have 2 hours and, well, I was shooting for 5 hours today. I was like, if I can do like 5 hours, I'd be happy with it. No intention of setting the course record. I'll be upfront about that. I had no intentions of doing that. Even though I've said in years past, I thought the course record should be at least 4.5, if not lower. So somebody really good like a Lipsy, Zach Miller, Reagan McCoy comes in, they could drop like a 4 hour, like 4:10, 34 mile on this course easily. Like, I have no doubt in my mind. So anyway, coming in at 2:18, I was like, all right, so if I double that, that's 4:36 plus that 10. I was like, all right, we'll see what I can do. So I started pushing it a little bit. It was getting to be like, it got harder the second loop. Obviously, my legs weren't as fresh. You know, 17 miles in, you know, your legs aren't going to be as fresh as mile 0. So I just went with it, tried to push my body, and my thinking was, as long as I'm under 10-minute miles the rest of the way, I would be under the 5 hours, and I'd have a shot at the course record as long as I'm doing like 10s or lesses. So that's what I was shooting for on that second loop. At times it was a little bit of a struggle. I think I did hit some 10s. I know the 1 mile was 11, but that was my bathroom stop. I had a poop. I'll be frank, I had to. There was no way I was going to be able to run anymore with any kind of speed if I didn't poop in the middle of the woods. Luckily, I actually had my wet wipes on me today, so I'm thankful for that. Felt better afterwards, but my legs got a little bit tired because I took that like 2-3 minute poop break. They sort of went into like a recovery mode a little bit, so that hurt me, but I still managed to push through and do that 4:48, which I'm very happy with. I know I took water and stuff, or Gatorade, at every aid station today. Normally I just blow by a couple of them, and even the one woman's like, you don't normally stop here. I'm like, yeah, I know, but whatever, today I'm going to. Because I'm always trying to save time, you know, be ahead of people. But today I was, you know, going for like a training run / just doing what I had to do type race. So that's why I stopped at everyone. So even the first loop, normally I would have at least knocked at least 5 minutes off my time just by not stopping at the aid stations. So I took that into consideration a little bit. And even on the second loop, I probably could have knocked another 5 off, but I got hungry. So the couple aid stations that did have food, I grabbed some stuff because my stomach was just growling, and it's like, if you don't get food in me, I'm gonna shut down. So I knew I had to. So I had some watermelon, pickles, and I stashed some pretzels in my belt to snack on, but they were hard to chew because my mouth was so dry. But I managed. My legs are tight. They were tight during that second loop after pooping. Just trying to keep them geared up. It was a little bit rough. So the beginning of the race, I wasn't sure who was going to be fast or whatnot. Usually the first mile at Camp Harmony, well, it's like a little bit of a hill, and there's some people that always want to take off, and I'm like, all right, you gotta chase them because you don't know what they're gonna do, and you don't want them to like get this big ass lead. So today I hung back, nobody took off, so that saved me a lot of energy, and it kept me from going in the red line early on. So I'm happy with that. And then, you know, well, there was one dude with me for a while. And then I just, by like mile 2 or 3, he was out of sight. And then I just ran my own race without pressure the rest of the race, which I liked because I didn't have to worry about speeding up, and I could actually watch my footing and do me. Not have to worry about anybody else. I'm trying to think what to say, really. It was pretty much straightforward. I didn't fall this year. I've always fell in the past. I did stub my toe really good. I took a direct hit to my big toe on my right foot. Oh man, if you see the pictures of my toe, it's really, I would say it's about 1/4 of an inch blister on the top of my toe, man. I knew as soon as I hit that rock and I felt my toe, I was like, oh, that's gonna suck later on. So when I took my shoe off and I saw it, I was like, yep, it's a really nice blister. And it's all because that one rock I took straight on through my toe. I didn't have any other real issues. But yeah, if you know the course, it's a bunch of rolling hills the whole time. Maybe 100 feet or something at the most of a climb at any one given point. There's some switchbacks. Nothing overly technical. I don't know what to really say today, because there isn't really much to talk about per se race-wise. I didn't really pass anybody. I think I cut off to like a couple of 25Kers or something. Maybe like 1/4 mile left. That's about it. So it was a faster field this year overall. I didn't stick around too much after the race. I usually stick around until the last runner comes in, but I have some family in from Michigan, so that's what I'm headed towards now. Go see them, or else I'd still be there. I just had some chili and a piece of pizza after the race. Probably took a 20-minute shower just to try to recoup my legs. But it felt so nice. Drank my Fit Aid and recovered pretty quickly. I did drink a lot of electrolytes this year, more than I probably normally would for a race this size. I used my noon tablets, actually probably doubled up on them a little bit. And I think towards the end I started feeling the effects of too much electrolytes and not enough water balance. Because like I put a whole tablet in a 9-ounce bottle and it should have been 18 ounces, so it's kind of a little bit heavier mixture. But I had another 9-ounce bottle of water, so I could have balanced myself out if needed to, which again towards the end it was getting to the point where I needed to balance out because I was having like the tiredness effect of just too much. It was just like too much sodium and salt. I was definitely very salty after the race. Like my skin was like sandpaper from like the dried salt on me. I did wash off a few times in the creeks, not as much as I normally would, but it was a colder year, so I didn't have to. I was actually wearing a hat this year, not a headband, so it saved my head a lot. I didn't really hear my music too much, except for maybe like 3 or 4 songs during like the whole 5 hours. It just seemed to really go by fast this year, since I wasn't struggling or hitting the wall or anything. But that's from not redlining and pulling back a little bit and running within myself. You know, running a steady pace, a comfortable pace, we'll put it that way. You know, not a slow pace, but not like a redline 5K race pace where I'm going to blow up. So I definitely played it a lot smarter. had my naked belt, just wore my 2 XU compression shorts, my calf sleeves, my Golden Girl gaiters, and my Peregrines. I wore a long sleeve shirt to start the race because it was a little bit chilly, but my plan was to drop it at that aid station, which is like a mile into the race, like where you start that second loop. So that was my plan. So I put my iPod underneath the shirt so I could just ditch it real quick. So that's what I did. So once that first mile I got warmed up so I could take it off and not get overheated or have to worry about it. I did have some cotton gloves. I wore them to probably 8 or 10 miles into the race, and I gave them to one of my buddies because my hands were still a little bit chilly at the start, even after that first mile. Yeah. But during my poop break, which was like my worst mile, because I had to stop for a couple minutes, which was like 11 minutes. I don't know if this is where I got it, but like a mile left into the race, I happened to look down at like around my knee, and I saw it tick, and it was already like getting buried in me, and I had a hard time pulling it out. So I'm gonna have to go get some antibiotics later today because it's already left like a red mark on my leg, and it was bleeding a little bit, and it was hard to pull out. So I'm thinking I got it when I was pooping because I didn't really hit any brush or anything. The trails are pretty much clear, so I'm not brushing up against anything. But again, you never know. Not have to go deal with that shit later on. But this race was part of my like good training block. I did Heiner last week. I did this Queen race this week. The next week I'm going to Grayson Highlands 50 miler and trying to do Pittsburgh the next day after that. This will be like my spring training block for building. So far I've survived. We'll see how I feel later. I guess that's about it. I got my cool award. I wish I could show you. It's in my back seat. I saw them last night be revealed, and I was like, I want that one. And I thought for sure the 25 or the 25Kers were gonna take it, but thankfully they didn't, and I got the one I really wanted. They were all like, don't get me wrong, all the awards were awesome, but that was like, that one just stands out. Something about it just stood out more than the others, and I was like, I hope I get back in time to get that one. And thankfully I did. So that's cool. Yeah, other than that, I didn't really have much issues. If you know the Queen course, it's pretty straightforward. I ran it, I guess, about not as best as I could. If I was only doing like one lap, definitely could have banged it out a lot faster. Like a one lap. Since I was doing 2, I played it smart and ran within myself. So, hey, they gave me a course record by 7 minutes, and I still think I can knock at least 20 off, if not in half an hour. If I didn't have like races, if this wasn't like sandwiched in between other races. So maybe next year I'll do that, depending on what the schedule's like. I'm gonna just leave it at that for now. So yes, woohoo, another victory.